Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in on this second day of your Faith Service and Fun Week. My name is Brian, I am the Director of Cool Critters Outreach. What we do, we're an organization here in Cincinnati, Ohio. We do what we call education and rescue work with animals. It's an organization that was started back in 2006. When we started this organization, just to kind of give you a little bit of background, it was really mainly so that we had a couple of animals that we had as pets. So we had a snake and a gecko as a pet. And when our kids were young, we would actually take them into their schools, and it was kind of like a show and tell type thing, and show it off. And the kids loved it. And I've always liked animals. When I was younger, I wanted to own a pet store, that kind of thing. So when I got this opportunity, I actually worked at the Cincinnati Zoo for a couple years. I volunteered for another organization, but once I got this opportunity to start this, we did it so that we could kind of help feed the animals that we had so I can get a couple more pets. That turned into us taking in, as soon as we started this organization, as soon as we went out there and said, hey, this is what we do, we want to go out and do education with them, people called us and said, hey, you have snakes, you have lizards, will you please take my snake, will you please take my iguana, whatever the animal is, basically, and still, it became rescue work. So now we do, as we call it, education and rescue work with animals. We don't typically take in cats and dogs. We do have them. We actually have 4 cats and 4 dogs right now. But we basically take in all the other stuff. We take in the snakes and lizards and geckos and turtles. We have ferrets and chinchillas. We have all sorts of stuff. And everything we have is a rescued pet. Nothing we have we purchase. Everything is an animal that somebody had, and for one reason or another they needed to get rid of it. It could have been the animal got too big, got too mean, whatever the case may be. When the animals come to us, what we'll do is we want to make sure they're nice and healthy. So they got to go to a vet, that's fine. We make sure they eat, make sure they drink, make sure they use the restroom, that kind of thing. You can tell a whole lot from that. And then what we'll do with some of the animals, we keep some and we will actually utilize them in hands-on presentations. We keep some, obviously, and do some virtual presentations now that a lot of stuff is virtual, like this. But we will keep these animals and make sure, like I said, we can go out and we educate the public about them. Make sure not only you learn about these animals in the wild and what it's like, but also what it's like to keep them as pets. Because again, everything is a rescued pet. Before you get a pet, and I want to make sure you all understand this, before you get a pet, please research it. Please know what you're getting into. Cat, dog, bird, snake, lizard, doesn't matter. You got to make sure you research it and know exactly what's happening, because some of these animals, they require a lot of space. They might just require a lot of time, hands-on time with you. They might become aggressive. They might get real big. They might live a very long time, and you have to plan for everything. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to share with you a couple of animals that we have, and kind of give you a little bit of background on them and what it's like, again, in the wild, and what it's like to keep them as a pet. And the first one we're going to do is a bearded dragon. Okay, so here we have a bearded dragon. This is a lizard from the deserts pretty much all throughout Australia. And here in the States, this is what we like to get as pets for whatever reason. It's a very, very popular pet for people to get, because basically what this little girl is doing here is pretty much what they do all day. They just kind of like to sit around and hang out and do a whole lot of nothing. Now, as you're looking at her, you're going to notice, of course, her beautiful little eyes here. She's got that little nose there, and on the side, you see that little hole? Those are her ears, so she can hear you. And inside that little hole, there's a little kind of like a scale almost. And what that scale does is, as she's running around through the desert, so that if sand or anything gets in her ears, it's not going to necessarily go into her body. It's just going to sit in that little pocket of shed. And then when she grows and she sheds her skin, like most reptiles do, she's going to go ahead and let go of that pouch of skin inside of there, and any dirt or sand or anything that's in there as well. They get their name from the little beard that they have right under here. Both males and females have that beard, and they use it for a couple different reasons. One reason they're going to use that is if they get mad, if they're scared, if they're upset. What they'll do to show that they're a bit bigger and tougher than any other animal, they're going to stand up real tall on all 4 legs. They might open their mouth and hiss. They'll also puff out their neck. It'll turn really, really dark black. It looks like just a big, giant black beard. Makes them look really tough, hopefully scares away any predators that could possibly be coming after them. The males will also do that not only to tell predators to leave them alone, but the males will do that also to try to attract a female. So what they'll do is they'll stand up real tall on all four legs. They might actually hiss a little bit and open their mouth as though they're showing a dominance thing, and they'll puff that neck out. And the bigger the beard, usually the more handsome the guy, and then the female, they become a little pair. Okay, now I mentioned that these guys are found pretty much all throughout Australia. Not only are they found in the deserts, but you will find these guys a lot of times kind of hanging out in areas where people live. They'll find them on their fence posts and things, because basically they really have to get that summer sun. They have to get that heat. The ultraviolet rays from the sun, it causes a reaction in their body that produces vitamins, so that as they eat and as they get the proper nutrition, they can grow properly, so their bones will grow big and strong. So they're gonna basically during the day they're gonna lay out on a branch, maybe on a rock, or again maybe a fence post, and they're gonna soak up all that sun. This little female here, she is full grown, just about full grown. They only get to be not even like a half a pound, right around in that area, and maybe about 18 inches or so long head to tail. And she's pretty much that. She might get a little bit bigger, but not much, if that at all. You see the spikes on this side here, everything here, it's all to make her look tough and mean. These spikes are very, very soft. Even when she gets upset, when she gets mad, when they puff up, those spikes, they come poking out. They look sharp, but they just are not sharp. Actually, when you feel her, she's just kind of bumpy down her back, especially if you pet from the head towards the tail. If you do try to pet from the tail towards the head, because of the way the scales are angled, you're not really going to be able to do so, and that's a thing to help protect them from any kind of predator that may surprise them from behind. Speaking of back here, look at this tail. This big long tail of hers. This big old long tail. Now this tail is used for a couple of main things. One is for balance as they climb those trees, as they climb the branches, as they're climbing rocks, as they're climbing up the fence post. That will help balance them so they don't fall. And the other reason they have that big long tail is for a weapon. It's used to defend themselves against other animals. While they can run away, and they can run up to about 9 miles an hour, while they will try to run, if they can't get away or if something does corner them, they will begin to smack their tail around and kind of whip it around. And that way, hopefully it smacks the other animal, and that animal will run away. This particular type of lizard does not break off its tail. Their tail is not detached like a lot of lizards or geckos can do. This tail is on for good. Alright, so their main diet mainly includes a lot of fresh greens, collard greens, mustard greens, turnip greens. They'll eat kale, that kind of stuff. They also like to eat a lot of bugs, so you're talking crickets and worms and grasshoppers, cicadas, any kind of big insect, larger insect they will try to eat. I do have some worms with me here. These are little mealworms. Let's see if she'll want to eat some. As soon as she sees that, you'll see that tongue come out. Now the tongue isn't too long, as you can tell, but it is a little sticky. So she'll see that and use those eyes. Look at the eyes right on the side of her head there. So if it's directly in front of her, she does have a little bit of a difficult time seeing it. She'll go ahead, she's looking for more. And she'll do this every single day. So for this particular one, again, a lot of people get these things as pets. Around here, it's one of the more popular pet lizards because of their temperament. They're very laid back, very easygoing, very relaxed little animals. Kind of fun to have around. You can hang and let them sit on your shoulder and they'll relax there with you all day. You even get to the point where some of their owners will dress them up in different clothes, different outfits, put a hat on them or something, or even put a leash on them and take them outside and take them for a walk if they decide they want to walk. We don't necessarily do all that. We just like to make sure these guys are happy and healthy and they get the heat and everything else that they need to get big and strong. Alright. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that bearded dragon. Listen, you join me outside now in my backyard. I'm really excited to show you this little guy. This is the 4th largest tortoise species in the world. He's creeping around here behind me. He's called a leopard tortoise. I'm sorry. He's back here eating and it's cracking me up. He's called a leopard tortoise, and this little guy is just a few years old. Let me get in there. He lives in the hot, dry savannas in southwest and southeastern Africa. And during the day, he basically hides in the tall grasses just like this. So we do let some of our stuff kind of grow up a little bit so that these guys are pretty happy. But let me reach in here and get him out. Look at this little guy. Check him out. So this is the leopard tortoise. His name is QR. Oh, look at him. So cute. All right, let's put him down. Let's kind of follow him around and learn a little bit about him. All right, so here we go. His name is QR. We call him QR for quick response. He is, once again, a leopard tortoise. This is an animal that's going to live potentially 50 to 100 years. He's pretty small right now, but when he's full grown, he's going to be about 1.5 feet long or so, and he's going to weigh probably 40 to 50 pounds plus. I think the largest on record was around 88 pounds, but that's a real big one. We're just watching him go around and do his business here. This is a tortoise. Now, the difference between turtles and tortoises typically is that, is that turtles can swim, tortoises cannot. This tortoise, however, can swim for short distances. If you notice right above his neck there, that little notch out of his shell. Leopard tortoises have that notch, and because of that and their increased lung capacity, they can go ahead and because of the height of their shell, they can actually swim and float or whatever for just a short time if they need to. Okay, and his little toes there, the fact that his toes are turned inwards, that helps him cross over and walk over a whole bunch of rocky terrain pretty quickly. He's actually a lot faster than you would think a tortoise would be. They have really good eyesight, and they spend most of their day hiding in the tall grasses, like I mentioned, where we got him from. We took him in actually just shortly before everything shut down in February, March-ish of 2020 here, and he's been fantastic since. Their main diet, as you see, he loves a lot of grasses. He likes hay. He loves succulents, flowers, some fruits and veggies. He really likes watermelon, and I just so happen to have picked up a watermelon, so I'm going to go cut some real quick, and we'll cut back to him eating some. All right. So there we go. Here he is enjoying some watermelon. It looks like he's not getting anything, I know, but that little beak of his, he's actually able to get a little bit off here and there, and he'll start to tear off big chunks as he gets down a little bit deeper. Now, when these guys, what happens in between May and October, they start getting real grouchy and kind of aggressive with one another, both males and females, and that means it's time to start finding a mate. So what these guys are going to do, the males will actually ram each other when they're fighting for their little female friend. And after they mate, the female's gonna dig a really deep hole. Well, not a really deep hole, I should say. It could be anywhere from about 3 inches to 11 inches, so it's not all that deep. But she'll deposit anywhere from about 5 to 30 eggs, anywhere up to 7 times a year. So she lays them about 3 to 4 weeks apart. They stay in the ground and incubate for anywhere from about 9 to 12 months. And then, once they hatch, these babies are on their own immediately. Let me see if we can't a little bit better up there with him. He's a little shy, which is pretty normal for these guys. They're not real social animals. They don't really get aggressive with anything or anybody. They don't typically dig a lot of burrows. The only time they really dig is the females will dig when they're going to lay the eggs. But other than that, these guys are pretty laid back, chill little animals. Like I mentioned, QR here, we got him just before everything shut down in February, March-ish here this year, and the family that had him they no longer wanted him. They didn't want to care for him. They knew he'd live a long time. Again, 50 to 100 years is a long time to have yourself a pet, especially a reptile that doesn't really get to know you or care about you, I guess. sure are fantastic, though. Absolutely love them. That shell, that real pretty markings on that shell. As he gets older, those darker spots, they're going to turn kind of more grayish and kind of more of a blah. It's just all to help him blend in. Make sure nothing gets him. Make sure he looks like a perfect little rock. We think he's just a few years old, so we plan on having him for a long time. So you guys can keep watching him grow over the years, because I'm sure we'll keep doing more videos on him and just watching him do his thing and walking around and being a tortoise. Hey guys, listen, thank you so very much for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions about anything, if you want to see some more animals, definitely check us out online at coolcrittersoutreach.com. We have plenty of social media pages out there as well, so go search for us and find us. Thank you again. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Stay clean, stay healthy, wash those hands, and we'll see you again really soon, all right? Take care. Bye-bye.